Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Modern Quantity Surveyor Key Skills to Have. Let's continue with the health and safety competency and let's focus on risk management, which is the heart of any health and safety management system. Risk management is undertaken all the time both by businesses and individuals. Individuals do risk management in their daily life at home as well as their place of work. And businesses, they do risk management in assessing threats to their successful operation. Insuring against the loss of property, home, business, car, or other possessions is among the most common forms of risk management. Individuals need to take personal ownership for managing health and safety risks. Business risk management includes financial risk, reputation risk, change management, and project risk management, as well as operational risk management disciplines such as environmental matters, contractor procurement, and control of health and safety. Fundamentally, risk management means taking adequate time to fully consider how any plan of action could deviate from what you expect. It concentrates on the identification, prioritization, and management of health and safety risks that have the potential to harm people or property. Risk assessment. Risk assessment is defined as carefully examining what in your work could cause harm to people so that you can judge whether or not you have taken enough precautions to prevent harm. Risk assessment involves the management of two key concepts, hazard and risk. A hazard is something with the potential to cause harm to someone. The harm could be an injury or ill health. Risk is the likelihood, whether high or low, of the harm being realized. Importantly, risk increases as the severity, likelihood, or number of people affected by the harm increases. So, the RICS members and RICS firms need to consider how to assess risk in their workplace in a way that is appropriate to the firm and the risk to which it is exposed. It will be necessary to develop different assessment tools or templates in order to successfully address the wide range of risks any organization may be presented with. RICS members of all disciplines should consult with appropriately qualified health and safety professionals regarding the adequacy and methodology for undertaking risk assessment. If the work takes RICS members out of their office, the risks may increase. For instance, majority of inspections where work can be carried out without needing to access roof or enter roof spaces, riser ducts or confined spaces are likely to remain relatively low risk. However, if it is necessary to take ladders, enter restricted areas such as confined spaces, or the work is in a remote construction site or perhaps a site under the control of a client or customer, the inherent risk will increase. If the RICS member is required to visit premises or construction sites such as refurbishment and demolition, they could be exposed to various hazards, for example noise, vibration, toxic materials, driving for extended periods, lone working, working close to vehicles, working close to fast flowing or deep water, or working in any number of other environments where the likelihood of risk and consequences of harm could increase substantially. Office work is relatively low risk, such as preparing briefing documents, specification, reports, and drawing. But if you sit for extended periods at the desk in front of a computer, it can cause health problems, especially if your work equipment is not properly adjusted and adequate breaks are not taken. Then visit to known and well-known controlled other offices, new builds, premises in good condition, and known tenant properties are also low-risk work environments. Medium risk environments are, if not low risk and not higher risk, such as visiting to completely manned sites, meeting with contractors, designers, and employees are accompanied by local competent staff. And even if you access to plant rooms but still are accompanied by their staff, Building sites where minor works are undertaken, then regular journeys, say driving before will lower than 300 miles a day, visiting to unknown or unfamiliar tenants' properties, unfamiliar agricultural property, unaccompanied visits to property viewings, and accompanied visits to restricted areas like plant rooms or Ministry of Defense projects. Now let's focus on the higher risk environments, as these are the places where the rate of injuries and accidents keep increasing and are very dangerous to work. For example, visiting construction sites, demolition sites, vacant, remote, unmanned sites or lone working, large building sites or large industrial estates like distribution warehouses, units with hazardous activities or deleterious materials present. Visit to premises where hazardous operations or activities are undertaken, manufactured, contaminated sites which have potential risk of pollution, toxic materials or other environmental risks, working on heights like roof, scaffold, access tower, cherry picker or similarly including part-built sites where they may have any unprotected edges, visits to work which are adjacent to live load roads, railways or airports, and also working in enclosed potentially confined spaces such as underground tunnels, cellars, foreign trips and so on. So this is how the steps of risk assessment is shown. It's like identify what are the hazards, who might be harmed. For example, in case of slips and trips, staffs and visitors could be injured if they trip over the objects or slip on slippages. So what are you doing? You are of course doing some good housekeeping and also making sure there are no trailing cables and staff is keeping all the work areas clear, no boxes on the walkways. And you need to check if you need to do something else besides this, maybe more better housekeeping in the kitchen, and arrange for loose carpet tiles and so on. And who should do it? Maybe the staff, supervisor or the manager. And it should be done when? Maybe from now on, write the date, month, year, and also monitor if it is done or not. Hierarchy of risk control is a very important concept in safety management. Risk should be reduced to the lowest reasonable practicable level by taking preventive measures in order of priority. The hierarchy of controls is a method of identifying and ranking safeguards to protect workers from hazards. They are arranged from the most to least effective and include elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, and PPE. And elimination, the first one in the hierarchy of control, means you have to redesign the activity or remove the hazard or eliminate. For example, use drone for the roof inspection instead of working on the height. Second is substitution, that is replacing the materials used with less hazardous one. For example, use pre-prepared components then fabricating or cutting on site. Third is engineering controls. Use work equipment or other measures to prevent falls where you cannot avoid working at height. Like for dangerous machinery, use guarding, use local exhaust ventilation to control risk from dust or fumes. The fourth one, administrative control, it's more about identifying procedures to work safely, like give trainings to staff, job rotations, performing detailed risk assessment, provide safety signages like prohibit mobile phone in hazardous areas. And the last one, PPE. When all the above measures are ineffective in controlling risk to a reasonably practicable level, then only PPE must be used. Like eliminate the risk of fall, use PPE harness where work at height cannot be avoided. Wearing appropriate PPE as a last resort in lower risk environment. Now, measurement of risk can be either quantitative or qualitative evaluation. And all risk assessments should be carried out by a competent person. The benefit is that the risk matrices used to help out the level of risk associated with a particular issue by categorizing the likelihood of harm and the potential severity of the harm plotted in the matrix. The risk level determines which risk should be tackled first. This is a simple risk assessment of 3x3 matrix. The red color line represents a risk which has to be eliminated or reduced. The risk assessment values On orange from 4 to 6 have to be also reduced. Values from 2 to 3, which are in yellow, means you can have control measures implemented with information provided to those at risk. And the last one, which is assessment of 1, is not normally considered to be significant. So, a simple risk assessment matrix illustrates how a risk may be given a relative value by multiplying the values on the vertical and horizontal axis. It's the responsibility of each RICS regulated firm to determine and provide guidance on what is meant by high, medium, and low on both axes. So there are different risks which require different risk assessment, like first aid, fire safety, and so on. We will look into each of these hazards in another video. And also one point to remember is risk assessment can be also done dynamically, that is especially when prior to taking the work activity immediately you can assess the risk, or while in the process of actually undertaking the work as the work environment is changing. Well, this is recommended for higher risk environments to continually re-evaluate the working environment and competence of themselves, and to make sure others also continue with the work activity. But if the situation is too dangerous, be prepared to make the area as safe as possible and quickly retire to a place of safety before reconsidering how to continue safety. Lastly, risk assessment is the heart of health and safety management. So learn at least one competency a week. Are you ready? Please subscribe to my channel, Modern